because it is backward difference. It is not forward difference. For forward difference, you can go for using delta. Write it this way, then this becomes the backward difference. So here you're going to find the backward difference and you're going to use these values in the formula. Okay, so this backward difference Wi-Fi, and here backward difference again Wi-Fi, here also Wi-Fi, here also Wi-Fi, here also Wi-Fi. Okay, so we'll be using these values instead of the Y1, Y2, Y3, Y4, Y5. Here we'll be using all the Wi-Fis. Okay, so the only difference is the formula. So the backward difference, you will go for finding the difference of Y1 minus Y0, Y2 minus Y1, Yn minus Yn minus 1. Okay, which is denoted by this. So this is called the backward difference. So the formula goes like this. For forward difference, the formula was P into P minus 1. Whereas for backward difference, the formula will be P into P plus 1. That is one difference. Another difference, here you take the first value in the table. You see Y0, this is delta Y0, this is delta squared Y0, this is delta power n Y0. Whereas in the case of backward difference, we take all the last value, Yn. You see here, the backward difference, you've got this Yn, and here also you see Yn, here also you see Yn. So this is how you, this is the difference between the forward difference, the forward interpolation formula and the backward interpolation formula. The rest, the calculating the p-value, that also remains the same. So the rest remains the same. Yes, students, can you connect yourself to the formula, because I think it is already over in theory? Hello?
Yes, ma'am, it's over.
Theory. Yes, others in the class? Others in the class?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you all there? Good morning. Please get up. Yes, did you all understand? Only 3 of them answered. Please unmute and say. Only then I'll go for the coding. Hope the formula is exactly what you executed, what you used in your theory lecture. Is there any difference in the formula? Yes, students? Hello?
No difference, ma'am. Same.
I want the others to answer. Yes? Others in the lecture, please answer. Please get up and be active. I've started little late. Okay. Now, this is the example we'll be taking. Okay, so you have the year and the population is being given. Using the formula, we'll find for some population. For the year 1925, we have to find the this is the table that we have, the actual table. The one that is colored in red, these are the values we'll be taking for our in the formula. Okay, so now this is, you have to find the population in the year 1925. Okay, so it is between 1921 and 1931. So you should get a y value which is between 93 and 101. So you are on the right track. Okay, so the value that you are going to get is 96.83, which is between 93 and 101. So we are on the right track. So you should get this answer. If you get an answer below 93 and above 101, then there is some mistake that you're doing in the calculation. Okay. So you should try, when you calculate, you should get an answer between 93 and 101, because 1925 is between 1921 and 1931. That is one way to cross check your answer. Okay, so here again we go exactly as we did in Newton forward. Y of 1, you have the Y array that is being stored, and you find the difference between Y of 2 and Y of 1. You store it in D1 of 1. You find the difference between Y3 and Y1. You store it in D1 of 2. The difference Y4 minus Y3 is stored in D1 of 3. Y5 minus Y4 is stored in D1 of 4. Now this difference, D1 of 2 minus D1 of 1, is stored in D2 of 1. D1 of 3 minus D1 of 2 is stored in D2 of 2. And the difference between 4 and 5 is stored in D2 of 3. And the difference between these three are stored in D3. The difference between D3 is stored in D4. Okay, this is exactly same as your Newton forward. There is no difference. Okay, it's exactly same as your Newton forward. Now we have to use the last values. Okay, these values we'll be storing in the D array. If you remember in Newton forward, we stored the actual value that is necessary in the formula in a new array called D array. So we'll be storing D1 of 4 as D of 1, D2 of 3 as D of 2, D3 of 2 as D of 3, and D4 of 1 as D of 4. Okay, so this is how we'll be storing. Is it clear, students? Are you able to connect yourself? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yes, others?
Yes, ma'am.
Finish with Newton forward. That is why I am going in this speed. Okay, because we have already finished this in Newton forward. It is already done in Newton forward. You remember we did it here. Remember this? So I have pasted the code exactly. Now in Newton backward, I have not pasted the code because it is the same thing. Only the the same for loops have to be used. So I have not pasted the for loop there in that in the screen where this is seen. I have not pasted the code because you will be doing the same thing. Usually I don't show the code. I ask the students to do, but I think I'll show you the code for you. So this is your Newton forward. So first we initialize the x values, we initialize the y values. Then we are going for finding, we'll be storing the initial value for applying the P formula. What is the formula of P? How will you calculate P? X minus x0 by h. What is this x? The new value that you are, for which you have to find the population. Okay, this population is not, you are not, the population is in lakhs. Okay, 46, it is 4 lakhs, it is in that manner. So please do not think the population is 46. Okay, it is in lakhs. So here you have to find the population for the year 1925. That is going to be your x value in the formula of, that is used to find P. So x minus x0. X0 is nothing but, in the case of backward, what is x0? What is x0 in case of backward interpolation?
1931.
1931. So that is the last one. Okay, in the case of Newton forward, which is what is x0? Sweetie, you keep quiet. In the case of Newton forward, in this x value, which is x0?
1891.
1891. Okay, so in the case of backward, you will be using 1931, and in the case of forward, you will be using 1891. So this 1931, if this is stored in an array, is it not? X is an array. So x of 1, x of 2, x of 3, x of 4, x of 5. So 1931 is in x of 5. Okay, so you are going to use x of 5. So you will be using 1931, which is in x of 5. So that is why x0 is stored as x of 5. And x2 is the value that you're going to find out. Now you apply the difference between the 1891 and 1901. The difference is 10 years. 1901 and 1911, the difference is 10 years. So H is equal, your interval is going to be 10. Now you apply the formula, P is equal to X minus X naught by H. Here we have used X2. Why we are not using X? Because X is already used for the name of an array. Okay, so that is why we are not able to use X. So we use some other variable. You need not use X2. You can use any variable. Okay, you say B, no problem. You say C, no problem. Some variable you should use, that's all. I use a variable in terms of X, that's all. It's not necessary that you have to follow what I am saying. Since you have used X here, you can use here something else. You can use here B, you can use here C, whatever you want you can use, okay? So that is your choice. So we apply the formula to find the P. Now we have to, the for loops. You remember these for loops in Newton forward, students? The same for loops. Okay? Hello?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
I'll just show you. I'll paste it here. Hope you all can see the for loop to some extent. So you see the for loop here for I is equal to 1 to 4. D1 of I is equal to y of I plus 1 minus y of I. You see the same thing over here. Here we have less value, so we have given I is equal to 1 colon 3. Okay, here we have more values. In the example that we have taken, we have one more value. We have 5 values, but here we have only 4 values. So it is I is equal to 1 colon 3. But in the example that we are discussing, we have 5 values. So I is equal to 1 to 4. Is it clear, students? Are you able to see this? Everybody?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you able to
Yes,
come?
ma'am.
It's the same thing. There is no difference. So you have to do that. So that's the next step. The for loop you write. Then the formula you have to apply. So in the formula, as I said, you're going to use the last values. D1 of 4, you will be using D1 of 4. You will be using D1 of 4, then D2 of 3, then the last value D3 of 2, and here there is only one value, so D4 of 1. Okay, let us see if that is what we have done. So you can see here, it is D1 of 4, D2 of 3, D3 of 2, and D4 of 1. That is stored in the D array. Now we start with the formula. Exactly like how we did for the Newton forward. We need the last values in the formula. So we assign the last value y of 5 to f of x. P1, it is product. So P1 is equal to 1 and I is equal to 0 colon 3. First we calculate the P value. So P1 will be 1 into P plus 0. So you will get P over here. Here in the first step, you will get P. Then Fx will be x of 5. That is x of 5. That is nothing but in your formula, it is yn. Okay, in your formula, it is yn. Plus d of I plus 1. What is this? This is this one, the backward difference. Okay, so that is being used over here into P1. So in the first case, it will be P divided by factorial, that is 1 factorial, because I is 0 in the first case. 0 plus 1, it will be 1. So the first part of the formula is over. So this part is over. Okay, this part is over. Now next time when you come, this is already there in P1. This is already there in P1 and you have to only add this. And you have to add this and you have to find the factorial of 2. That will be your next step. So now P is already there in P1. I'm going for the next step. P is already there in P1. Okay, so P is already there in P1. So next I will become 1. So here it will be P is already there in P1. P into P plus 1. Okay, so P into P plus 1. Then here in fx already the first two terms are there. So along with that you go for adding p into p plus 1, factorial of I plus 1. I is already 1, so it will be 2 factorial. Okay, so you are getting p into p plus 1 divided by 2 factorial. Like this it will go on till 3. Okay, and then whatever you get here in fx will be your value. That is nothing but 96.8362 will be there in fx. Is it clear, students? If you have understood Newton forward, this is nothing. It is exactly the same. Do you see any change in the formula? Hello? Only instead of p into p minus 1, here you have p into p plus 1. And also the last values are being used. Okay, so the last values are stored here. The last values you are seeing here. Okay, so it is in D array. And this D array we are using here. Okay, so D of 0 first we will use. So D1 of 4 will be there. Then D of 1 we will, D of 1 we will use first. Then D of 2 we'll use. Then D of 3 we'll use. D of 4 we'll use. So the formula is completed. Is it clear, everybody?
Yes, ma'am.
Everyone?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Others in the meeting? Will you please put a message in the chat? Let me see how many of you are listening the lecture. Will you please put a message in the chat whether you have understood or not? Yes, students. So this many are there. I don't know whether you are actually listening, whatever. So, but this is something which you can do by yourself. Okay. So this is about Newton backward interpolation. So I thought of teaching Lagrange's also because this is something which you all know. Okay. So now we go for Lagrange's. So I'm sure this is the formula you are being taught. You are taught. Yes or no? Is this the formula? Please go through your book. This is the formula you would have used in your theory lecture. Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Others in the meeting, please be active. Yes? Just give me 5 minutes or 1 second. I'm just coming. Okay. Hope you're all there. So this is the formula we have been using. Yes, students. So now before going into the formula, how is it different from Newton forward and backward? Now, when you notice in Newton forward and backward, for example, if you take this example, 1901, 1911, 1921, the difference between these two is equal. Okay, so that means they are equidistant from each other. Okay, but so in such cases you use Newton forward or Newton backward. Now, if the distance between the two values are not equidistant, that means that when you find the difference, if here it is 10 and suppose here it is 21, so then the difference is 20, and here it is say 51, then the difference is 30. So here the difference is different. Okay, so then in such cases, you go for Lagrange's interpolation formula. I think you all know this. Yes or no, students? Hello? You were aware of this, no?
Yes, ma'am.
In the theory, this was discussed. I'm just revising it, that's all. Yes, others in the meeting, did you understand this? When do we go for Lagrange's interpolation? Did everybody understand? Hello? Hello, good morning.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you all there in the meeting? Please raise your hand if you're there and you are listening to what I'm saying. Did you understand what I said? Just raise your hand. Okay, fine. So now we are going to write a program. Okay, so when we are writing a program, we should find a way to reduce this to something. As we did in our Newton forward and backward, we used a for loop and we could reduce that large formula to just 2 lines. That's all. We did not write the formula exactly in Newton forward or backward. Okay, we did not completely write the whole expression, the complete expression, the arithmetic expression. We did not write that expression exactly in our code. We tried to reduce the formula into some few instructions in the program. So here also, we have to reduce this formula, which is this large. Okay, so this formula, you know, it's quite large here. We have to reduce this to something, and you have a reduced version. Now, if you closely notice, you see this is one term, this is another term, this is another term, this is another term. Okay, so you see that all this is multiplied. All this is multiplied. Okay, in the same way, when you go for the second term, it is again divided into small terms. Okay, so again you see this is one part, this is another part, this is another part. You are finding the product, and finally this whole thing, whatever you are finding here and whatever you are finding here, they are added up. You see there is a plus symbol over here. Okay, so what is this actually? If you say in short, it is sum of products. Yes or no, students? Can we say it is sum of products? Everybody? Can we say in short this expression as sum of products of something? Yes or no? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. So let us see what products it is and what sum it is. Okay. So if you see here, you know, in products, in mathematics, you write it as pi, and sum is written as sigma. Okay. So now, how do you form the products? Okay. So that is what we have to see now. How did we get this expression? Because this expression we are going to directly use in our Scilab. We'll be writing this in Scilab directly. Okay, now how did we get this expression? You see this x. Please carefully listen to what I'm saying here, because for the exam, and hope you all know, as per the university circular, it is offline, and it's yet to be confirmed, because our college has to decide, and for that there is a meeting, and in the meeting it will be confirmed, and then we'll get the circular. Okay, so, and your exams will be mostly end of April. Your exams will end of April, May first week. It may go, or it may get over by end of April also. Please be ready for such surprises. Okay, so let us see how this formula is being formed. So here, if you notice, this is x value. Now, what is this x value usually? What you have to find? Yes or no? Sorry, what is being given? Sorry. What is given, and what is given? Okay, this is given to you, and for this given value, you have to find the corresponding y value. Okay, so this x value is given to you, and you have to find the corresponding y value. Okay, so now this x will be there in the question, so we cannot change this. So you see this x exactly in the formula. This x is written exactly like that. Now we go for minus x1. It is minus x1, and we immediately go for the term that is below. This is x0 minus x1. So this and this doesn't change. Now we go for the second expression. X is not changing. It is constant, and x2. So from x1 it has gone to x2, and this in the denominator, these two are the same. X2 it is the same, and this is same as the previous expression x1. Again, in the next expression, x1 x0 is not changing, and here it is getting increment. It will be x3 in the next expression. Here it will be x3. Okay, so if you notice, let us go for this expression here. Okay, this expression here and this expression here. Okay, so if you notice what is changing in one expression, the one that is there here is changing. This is given to us and this is a value which is other than this, because it should be different from this. If it is going to be same, then you will get a 0 in the denominator, which is not allowed. Divide by 0 is not allowed in programming. Okay, divide by 0 will raise an error. It will not allow you to proceed further. The program will stop abruptly there. Okay, it will give you a divide by 0 error and it will stop. Okay, so that is not there in our formula. So that is also being taken care of. Let me erase everything, and I think by now you have connected yourself to the formula. Let me explain it again. Okay, so now this x will be this. Okay, this will be this. This will be this, and x0 will be this. Okay, now if you know, because it is a formula which is extending, this is one expression, then you have another expression, then you have another expression. It is based on the data we have. Okay, this will go on and on and on. It will stop when the data is over. So we don't know how many data are there with us. Okay, so what I'm trying to make you understand how to write the code. Okay, so if you notice here, whatever is there here is there here, and this will not be same, because if it is same, hello, you can see my screen? One second. So if you see here, this and this will not be same, because if it is same, it will be divided by 0. Okay, so that is how this formula is being formed. Now, why is this j and why is this I? Let us come to that. Okay, let me erase it once again. Did you all understand what is happening, students? Hello.
Yes, ma'am, understood.
Now this ij I will make you understand now. Okay, why it is j here, why it is I here, that I will tell you now. Hope you could connect yourself. How did this expression come? You were able to understand. Yes or no? Everybody, sweetie, please keep quiet. Others.
Yes, ma'am.
Understand? Others. I see I get to hear only these three voices. Others, please tell me whether you just unmute and tell me, no, that's better. I cannot keep going to Teams and seeing whether you and asking each one. Of course, I can do it, but then that will be a waste of time. Okay, so please be present in the lecture. Present in the sense, please don't join the lecture for attendance. Nothing will happen. Attendance, you know what has happened. Okay, so please don't come for attendance. You have to understand what is going on in the lecture. Please attend lectures for that. Okay. And so now let us see how the formulas got. So this is x. This will not change. Okay. This will be exactly what is given to us, for which we have to find the y value. That is your x. Okay. Now, how is this xj and this is xj? Now here, this need not be xj. I can also write it like this, xi, and this is xj minus xi. I can write it like this also. Anything you can do. Okay, that is your choice. You write it this way. But only thing you should take care is this and this should be same and this should be different. Only that much you have to take care. Okay, now how are we framing this formula? Once again, I'll delete this, I'll erase this. Here is where you are going to play with loops. Okay, the loop matters a lot. So we saw that these two terms should not be same. Now, how do we check in the for loop? We say j is not equal to I. Okay, we say j is not equal to I. And another thing, if you notice, whatever is there here, the same term is used in y. See, here it is x1, this is also y1. Here it is xn, this is also y3. Or if you change this to 3, this is 3, then this is y3. So that also you are noticing, it is xi over here, then it is yi over here. Okay, so yi is multiplied to the end. First you multiply all these terms and then you multiply this term. So you have used a pi. Okay, here this is just to show that it is product. We have used pi. In our code also we will be multiplying. Okay, so code is very easy for Lagrange's. Okay, everybody finishes it in 5 minutes. Lagrange's code people finish in 5 minutes. Okay, it's a very, you have to just write this in Scilab, that's all. So yi is outside and this product is inside. And also you see a condition, j is not equal to I. If this you have to add this if structure inside the for loop. If you don't add this if structure, the denominator will be 0, which is not allowed. And you will get a divide by 0 error. Okay. Now this is, you have now this part will only find this term, and this term. Now you have to add these terms. So that is done outside. Another for loop. Okay, this is the j for loop. This is the I for loop. So in I for loop, again you go from I is equal to 1 to how many ever terms are supposed, if it is 5. So it will go till 5. And then you have to sum up these terms. This is first term. This is second term. This is third term. Okay, you have to sum these terms. So that will be done when I is equal to 1. Okay, and inside the for loop, you will be using this formula. Is it clear, students, everybody? Hello? Now I need an answer, or I repeat it again.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Did everyone understand? You can raise your hand. I think that's better. I can see it here. Did everybody understand, or you want me to repeat? Please tell me. I will repeat. No problem. I want you to understand how the formula is formed. Then writing the code is dead easy. I mean, you just have to write this in a language. That's all. For us, Scilab. Previously, we used to work, when I was a student, we used to write code in C language. Not in such Scilab. We used to write all this in C language. It's long, long back. No one, all have understood. You don't want me to repeat. There are few students who have not raised their hand, but I think they are not there. I mean, maybe they're sleeping also. They've logged in and they're sleeping. Pretty of them. Okay, fine. See, please, anytime when you are suppose you are preparing for your exam and suddenly you got a, I mean, you have, you have come across some doubt, please don't hesitate to message me and ask me, okay? Anytime I am there to help you with respect to what I am teaching here, okay? So now let us go for writing the code. I have pasted this formula here so that it is easy for you to understand. Okay. So first part, of course, you have to assign the values. So these are the values, x value, and these are the y value. You are asked to find for y of 10. So So it is here. So your answer should be between 14 and 16. Okay, so this is the formula. So you see here, the X array is assigned 5, 6, 9, 11. Y array is assigned 12, 13, 14, 16. And what you have to find is written in A, that is 10. Okay, that's written in A. And it is sum of the series, so sum S is equal to 0. That is done. And also we need product, so that we'll see. Okay, so why did we assign S is equal to 0 outside the for loop? Because it is sum of products. But the product, because you're finding the product should, P is equal to 1 should be assigned inside the for loop. Okay, it cannot be outside the for loop because every term is product of some terms. Okay, every term in the series is again product of some few terms. Okay, it's product of few terms. So you have to assign P is equal to 1 inside the for loop and sum S is equal to 0 outside the for loop. Let us see the code now. So here, where is my cursor now? So here we have 4 values. So for I is equal to 1 to 4, and see the J loop for I is equal to 1 to 4. And are you seeing this condition, students? If I not equal to J, only then you proceed with this formula. Okay, so what is the formula? First you will find the product. Exactly we have written this here. You see here. Exactly we have written this here. Okay, just see this formula. I said X, the value that we have to find is this X. So that is in A is equal to 10. So A is written over here and you see Xj divided by Xi minus Xj. Exactly the formula. Now, what is this P into? Because this is product, we have assigned P is equal to 1 over here, and inside the J loop, we have found the product. So if you notice here, see here, this is the product. So P is equal to 1 should be inside the I loop. Okay, it should be inside the I loop but outside the J loop. Okay, it should be inside the Y loop but outside the J loop. Because if you put P is equal to 1 here, then only one term you will get as output. But we want the product of certain terms. Okay, so that is why P is equal to 1 is outside. Okay, so then P is equal to P into, so this is done, that's it, end. Now you have to add each term. So that we will do outside. So you can write this directly here also, no problem. No? You need not assign it to T. You can write S is equal to S plus P into Y of I. You can write like this also. Okay, when you are doing, you can try like that. I just assigned it to T. Maybe I came across some issue and that's why I assigned it to T when I was working. And then we say S is equal to and then we say S is equal to S plus T. Okay, so then we say S is equal to S plus T. Okay, I have explained with an example here. So first we take I is equal to 1. P is equal, exactly here what we are doing I have written. P is equal to 1, J is equal to 1. If I is not equal to J, but this is equal. Okay, so we cannot go for the first loop. So both are equal. So this is not equal to J is false. Okay, that means when it is false, you cannot proceed further. So then the inner loop is incremented. Okay, so J becomes 2. So J will become 2, but I is 1 and P is also 1. Okay, I is 1 and P is also 1. So I is 1, P is 1, J is 2. Now this I is not equal to J becomes true. Now it comes inside. This will be executed. Okay. So P is equal to 1. 1 into A is 10. 10 minus X of J. What is J? It is 2. So X of 2 divided by X of I. What is I? It is 1 minus X of 2. Okay, so the first term is done. Then j becomes 3. The second term is multiplied. Then j becomes 4. Like this it goes on. After that, I will be incremented by 2. I have only shown for I is equal to 1. I is equal to 2 will come. J is equal to 1 will come. And then the next term will be, the product will be found. The product will be found. So like this, each product, after finding the product, you have to add it to the, you have to add those products. Okay, this part you have to do. So this part is done over here. Okay, you are finding the product inside the J loop, and then you have to add it inside the I loop. You see here, this T is with respect to the I loop, whereas this product is with respect to the for loop. Okay, so the summation is done with respect to the I loop. Okay, so you see S is equal to S plus T. So I told you, you can write this here also. You can write this exactly here also. S is equal to S plus T. And whatever you are finally getting in this S will be your output. Okay. So y of, we are writing it here, y of percentage I, y of 10 is percentage G. Whatever you have found in this S will be displayed over here. Okay. Did you all understand, students? Hello. Everybody. I'll repeat it again.
Yes, ma'am, understood.
I'll repeat it again if you have not understood. I don't mind, but I want you to understand.
Ma'am, can you repeat?
Yes. So we are going to write the code for this. Okay, so whenever the programming thing is something which the teacher can guide, but you should use your brain to understand why we are writing the code like this. Okay, so when we get such formulas, it is very clear this is one for loop and this is another for loop. Okay, inside this for loop we will go for product, inside this for loop we will go for addition. Okay, so that is what we have done here. Okay, so here this for loop is J loop, J for, and for this addition you go for I loop in for. Okay, this is what you're doing. So what are we doing here? This one is J loop and this is I loop. You should remember this. Okay. So this one is your J loop and this one is your I loop. Okay. So in J loop you will find the product of P into P is equal to P into the term. And in I loop it will be whatever you have found the product that you will add. S is equal to S plus P into, we have one more multiplication to be done, that is y of I. So y of yi. Okay, you have to multiply this. So now this P into this term will come here. Okay, this term will come here. So now if you see the for loop, it is exactly what I showed you here. For loop, you have 4 numbers. So 1 is to 4, 1 colon 4, not 1 is to, okay. And since you're finding the product, P should be assigned 1. And again, J also you have 1 colon 4 because you have 4 values. Okay. So J also will be 1 colon 4. Again, J is also this only. Okay. I and J will be working with these numbers only. Okay. This is your this for Y values. Okay. So here P is equal to P into, we write this formula exactly. You see here, X is nothing but A. I have used it as A. Why I am not using X? Because X is my array. So I cannot use X again here. Okay, I have to use X1 or something. Some other variable I have to use. Okay. So it is A minus exactly the formula xj, I have written it here as xj, then xi, I have written it here as xi, here it is xj. Okay, so this if structure ends here, you know why I is not equal to j is added, because if you don't add this in the denominator, you will get 0. So divide by 0 error will be there. So that is why we are not using this. And then you end the j loop, and so then the product is over in j loop. Now this I loop, you have to go for sum. Okay, you have to go for sum. So s is equal to s plus, instead of this t, you can write p into y of I here. You can write it here. Okay, because your term, you have to multiply the product with yi. So p into y of I, s is equal to s plus p into y of I. And then you print the answer. Okay, is it clear? Everybody?
Yes, ma'am.
Everyone, others?
Yes, ma'am.
You all understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I'm coming back. Yes, again, is it clear? You can raise your hand. If you have any doubt, you can ask me also. Please raise your hand if you have understood. Okay, so you can others are not in the lecture. The others who have not raised your hand, is it that you have not understood? Please let me know. I'll repeat again. See, I have not gone in deep. Now, what is that for loop? Why you are writing the for loop, I loop outside, why you are writing the j loop inside. So as I told you, you can write j loop outside and I loop inside, no problem. Okay, that's all your choice. You can write for k is equal to, you can write for j is equal to, that is all your choice. Only thing is, if you are writing in that manner, suppose you are writing now you may feel that you can write j over here, you can write I over here. Only thing is, this will become I and this will become j. That's all. Only that much change. Or you can use k over here, you will use L over here, no problem. That is all your choice. Okay, so instead of j, you will write L, and instead of I, you will write k. Finished. Okay, and here you will write k. So it is based on whatever you are you are free to use anything. Okay, you are free to use anything. That's all your choice. I've just written one form of it. Of course, this logic will not change because you have to apply this formula. The logic will not change. The logic will remain this only. You cannot have another logic for this. Okay, because we have done the least thing, that the maximum optimization we have done for the logic. Okay, so you cannot go for some other simple logic. This is the simplest logic that we can apply. Okay, you can take a screenshot of this. This is for Lagrange's. And please don't by heart the code. By heart this formula. This formula you by heart. And then you write the code by yourself. It's the simplest formula, and you are just playing with for loop. That's all. Everything is given to you. Just writing it exactly like that in the code. Nothing you have changed. See the formula and the code. It is exactly the formula seen in your code. Have you taken the screenshot?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Taken.
ma'am. Done.
Now you go for Newton backward screenshot. Done?
Done, ma'am.
Okay. Now, how much time you need to do this? Everybody has taken the screenshot? Everybody, shall I go out of this slide mode? Hello? Okay. So please do the practicals right now. Now it is 8:40. I'll give you 1 hour. 9:40, I will ask you to share the screen. Okay? You can lower your hand, everybody. Did you all understand what I said? Did you all hear what I said? Yes? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
So please execute the code. I'll ask you to share the screen. Do you need 1 hour? I'll ask you to share the screen after half an hour. That is better. Finish one by half an hour. One code you finish by half an hour. I'll ask you to share your screen. Okay? Everybody?
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah, please do. Don't leave the meeting.